The point really is that the SIR has become the final arbiter of who I am. Why? Why is my status as a voter the final definitive word on who I am? Why is Mr. Ganesh Kumar? Who is Mr. Ganesh Kumar to decide that I am an Indian or not? He isn't. That's what the Supreme Court did say that. Today we have an SIR which is a proxy for an NRC. So there is the opposition to the BJP is in total disarray. Mamata Banerjee is not taking control of the situation. This is her flagship scheme. She needs to take control of the situation. She is not on the ground. It is for the Trinamool Congress to hit the streets on this. They have to do it and take responsibility for what their scheme was. That scheme was an important scheme. And let me also say they should take responsibility for the fact that more women who were beneficiaries of the scheme voted for them even in this 2026 election after 35 odd lakh names were cut out. And therefore they have a responsibility to the voters.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. West Bengal Chief Minister Shubhendu Adhikari, yesterday when the SIR judgment came up, he said that approximately 30 lakh beneficiaries of Lakshmir Bhandar, which is a direct benefit transfer scheme for women that the previous Trinamool Congress government had introduced, were ineligible, which means that he says that 30 lakh beneficiaries are ineligible as they had either been permanently deleted from the voter list or they had not applied to a special intensive revision linked tribunal or for citizenship under the Citizenship Amendment Act for Inclusion. Now, the new BJP government has replaced the Lakshmir Bhandar with its own Annapurna Yojana, which will come into effect from June 1. Now, you can imagine the kind of chaos it could be because all this while there were beneficiaries who were taking the benefit of this Lakshmir Bhandar and all of a sudden the name of the scheme changes. 30 lakh people find themselves ineligible. Now, as I told you, Shubhendu Adhikari's comments came on a day when Supreme Court upheld the legal validity of the SIR of electoral rolls, noted that the Election Commission's determination being confined to electoral purposes cannot assume finality on the question of citizenship. Now, how is this situation really going to unfold as far as the politics in the state is concerned, as far as the citizen-centric schemes are concerned? And if you remember, a similar kind of a thing happened in Maharashtra with the Ladki Bahin Yojana, that the schemes are announced, direct benefit transfers are given, but if there is a government change, then the ineligibility factor comes in and the people again are deprived of the schemes of which they were taking the benefit. Now, what does this go to show about the larger political pattern as well? Joining me this evening is senior journalist and political commentator from Kolkata, Shikha Mukherjee. Thank you so much, Shikha, for joining. And how would you see this Shubhendu Adhikari's decision that all of a sudden he announces, and especially on a day when Supreme Court upholds the legal validity of the SIR and he says 30 lakh people are ineligible now for the Lakshmir scheme, the Lakshmir Bhandar scheme?
I'm so glad that we are having this discussion because there's much more to it. First and foremost, for over 2 weeks now, there's been speculation amongst beneficiaries of the Lakshmir Bhandar that their names would be struck off. Some names would be struck off, especially people whose names had been deleted from the voters list. And therefore, there was a rush, and this is fantastic. before Shubhendu Adhikari has announced the eligibility criteria and what papers they have to submit, these women have been lining up outside Aadhaar Seva Kendras in order to get their mobile and their bank account and their Aadhaar cards linked, because that is one of the requirements for the Annapurna Yojana. They knew about 10 days in advance that this is what would be required. In the villages, in the cities, everywhere.
And if I could just interrupt you to ask you, and when this Lakshmi Bhandar Yojana was on during Mamata Banerjee's time, then you need not,
No.
Was this a requirement?
Because these are the beneficiaries who are doing it now.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So that's one. So they knew 10 days in advance. The other thing is that they also knew that those whose names had been struck off the voters list and had not been put back in after the hearings, they would also not benefit from this. But here is where the real twist in the tail comes. About last week, sometime towards the middle of last week, all these women, or some of these women that I have spoken to, in a particular locality, were approached by the BLO and told that fill up this form. It is your citizenship application form, because your names were deleted from the list. You put in a citizenship application form, and we will give you a document. These are women who are beneficiaries of the Lakshmi Bhandar scheme. By the kind of forms that Shubhendu Adhikari has released today, they should have been excluded. But hang on, what did the BLOs do? They made them do that citizenship form application, and issued them domicile certificates.
Oh,
right.
That's absurd.
And one of the wait a minute, and then today, Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari's press conference releasing the form says that if you have an active appeal pending before the SIR tribunal, or if you have applied for citizenship under the Citizenship Amendment Act, your financial assistance will continue uninterrupted until the final disposal of the case. So, deleted, yes, but Mr. Adhikari's government had worked overtime from last week, 1 week before he has released the form, to get people back on the list. And the people that I know in that locality have all done it. They have filled in the citizenship application form, and they have got this domicile certificate. Right?
So what does this show? I'm finding it so absurd and weird. I mean,
it just shows that Mr. Adhikari's government has been working overtime not to upset women who may be excluded. So this is a public relations exercise. Great. However, how does he come to, he says there are 2.2 crore beneficiaries under the Lakshmi Bhandar scheme, right? And he anticipates that 30 lakh women will be deleted from this scheme. Now, how does he arrive at that figure? How does he know that 30 lakh people are going to be discarded? Very good. In 2024, last voter list revision, there were 3.73 crore women voters in Bengal. Okay. 2026, there are 3.4 crore women voters in Bengal. 30 lakhs. There's your 30 lakhs. Those whose names have been deleted from the voters list, they will be allowed. And amongst the proof of identity that is required, proof of residence, proof of identity, all of that is, the which says mandatory Aadhaar seeding, which I just talked about. And then, wait a minute, it says here that they have to have a recent EPIC number. And EPIC is a part of the requirement for proving that they are eligible. Voter I-card, crucial to verify your active status on the West Bengal voter list mapped after the SIR 2026 data. So everything is now linked to SIR. Your eligibility for Lakshmi Bhandar is also is linked to SIR. He has also made the announcement that a flagship program, the first of its kind, I think, in India, the Shasthu Shati.
See this, Shikha, as a larger conspiracy that, okay, you get an SIR, and I'm sure now, since the Supreme Court has given it a legal validity, you start depriving the people of these welfare schemes?
I was just coming to another one.
Right.
I was just about to come to another one. He has already made the statement that the same will apply for the flagship Shasthu Shati. Shasthu Shati means health card. It's a health card, which is a cashless card, and everybody in the state is eligible for it, regardless of income. Annapurna Yojana has a kind of income bar attached to it, but the Shasthu Shati does not. So everybody is eligible. He has said that no, those who are on the SIR deleted list will not be beneficiaries. In other words, and then he's used very specific language. He says, I am not giving the Shasthu Shati benefits to the Bangladeshis. So you know what he's talking about. Okay, here you have a government which in advance of its own announcement has already done a backdoor kind of exercise in making itself that much more palatable to the woman voter by doing door-to-door BLO, doing this, fill up the citizenship form, and then I'll give you a domicile certificate, and then you're eligible for this program. The point really is that the SIR has become the final arbiter of who I am. Why? Why is my status as a voter the final definitive word on who I am?
Absolutely. No, that's a very important point, that SIR becomes the final arbiter of who I am. So which means that whether you vote or not, SIR will decide whether you get a welfare scheme or you benefit from a welfare scheme. It is the SIR which is going to define that. And SIR is going to be decided by the Chief Election Commissioner, who is Ganesh Kumar. So apparently, and how does one read? That Supreme Court, in a way, has given all the powers to Ganesh Kumar to now decide, and also in future, that who is the voter and who all will receive the benefit.
Not just that, he's defining my identity as an Indian. Why is Mr. Ganesh Kumar? Who is Mr. Ganesh Kumar to decide that I am an Indian or not? He isn't. That's what the Supreme Court did say that to in only a limited way. But this is becoming not limited, it's becoming wider and wider and wider. Lakshmi Bhandar today, Annapurna Yojana tomorrow, some other benefit tomorrow. And and Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari is saying it openly, from land to health to food to this Lakshmi Bhandar kind of benefit. Everything is dependent now on the SIR deletion or inclusion. So today we have an SIR which is a proxy for an NRC. Effectively, that is what it means. Because he is talking about citizenship. Verify your active status, and then he's talking about citizenship here, because he's saying that whoever is not on it, I'm not giving any benefits to Bangladeshis. He's telling you what it is.
No, but isn't this a dangerous thing which reveals that apparently this is going to be the pattern in all the states where the SIR is going to be conducted?
Yes, it is. It is going to be, you're either in or you're out as per the Election Commission. You're an Indian or you're not an Indian as per the Election Commission. Since when in any country has a voter's card? Most countries don't have voters' cards to begin with. But if and when they do, can an election commission be the determinant of my identity as an Indian? This is carrying things too far. The election commission this is not the election commission's job. It is the reason why it is today we are facing this situation, why you and I are even discussing it, is because on the 10th of December in 2025, while talking about electoral reforms and SIR, the Union Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, made this astonishing statement that detect, delete, and deport, that is the policy of the BJP government, and that and this is exactly what would be followed. So, in other words, he linked the voters list to citizenship and to who is not a citizen. That's from where it starts. Therefore, the electoral roll revision, if I am looking at it and if I'm looking at the Home Minister's statement defending it, then the electoral roll becomes the proxy of the NRC. Mr. Amit Shah made it so on the 10th of December in Parliament, and Parliament wasn't quite awake to the fact that this is what was going to happen. And I think this is the greatest betrayal that has ever happened in the history of Indian parliamentary politics.
No, but nobody, I still remember, and you may correct me if I'm wrong, do you remember that the government has really clarified in the past that the people whose names are not there in the SIR list, they will be deprived of the government welfare schemes? Was this clarified by Amit Shah? Was this clarified by the government? Were they told immediately that, look, if you're not there as part of the SIR list, you will be deprived of all the government schemes?
Not directly, but indirectly, because they kept saying that no Bangladeshi should receive this benefit. So if you're saying that, basically you're saying that your name deleted from a voters list means that the Election Commission hasn't verified you as a citizen. So you're a Bangladeshi. Now this is like taking something which is vague and turning it into a certainty. How do you do it? How can you lawfully do it?
Do you think that this would be challenged now or can be challenged? How is the opposition going to take up this issue? Because it's not something which is so ordinary. 30 lakh people, if they are going to be deprived of the schemes from which they were benefiting, and just because there is a government change and they link everything to the SIR, how can this be?
This is only limited to women, huh?
To women, yes.
Yeah, and you're right. It could well be much beyond this. Why? Because a lot of the government schemes are in the name, the head of the household is the woman.
No, so, because there is a, Shikha, if you realize, there is a reason for the government to think on this line. There's so much of financial crunch. There is so much of pressure on the the coffers of the government. So they might as well start weeding out people, and why to give all the benefits, irrespective of the fact whether they announced, whether they are betraying the people or not. But then they have to really pull up their socks as far as the coffers are concerned.
Well, they should have thought about that before announcing that the Lakshmi Bhandar would be doubled to 3,000 rupees. And that unemployed youth who Mamata Banerjee had said would get 1,500 rupees, they should have thought before hiking it up to 3,000 rupees. They should have said that we will do what we have done in Delhi, which is make a promise and not deliver on it. You were talking about Maharashtra, where the list of beneficiaries has been sort of shaved off. I'm not even talking about Maharashtra. I'm talking about Delhi. In Delhi, women were promised 2,500 rupees a month. And then what happened? Not one penny has anybody got. I checked this time I was in Delhi and I was told, sorry, but...
Yes, that's true. The women in Delhi have not got money. In Maharashtra, all the ineligibility was worked around. And I'm just wondering that can't the people see this and they will still get allured by what BJP says? I mean, how is the opposition going to take up this issue? It's an important issue. Can this be challenged in the court?
It is important. How the opposition takes it up is a mystery to me, because if I was hearing things like this 10 days in advance, what was the opposition doing? Especially what was the Trinamool doing? These are its flagship schemes. They're the first of their kind in India. They have a reason to defend it. Instead of which they're squabbling about and writing complaints against each other to Om Birla in Parliament.
Absolutely.
So there is the opposition to the BJP is in total disarray. Mamata Banerjee is not taking control of the situation. This is her flagship scheme. She needs to take control of the situation. She is not on the ground. And today,
what is the reason? Because this is such an important thing. It affects the citizens, 30 lakh voters whose names are not there in the SIR list. Mamata Banerjee keeping quiet, opposition not doing anything is one can't stomach this reality. And why is there this eerie silence on the part of the opposition? Are they scared? Or do they feel that if they speak aloud or take up this issue, come on the streets, they might be jailed? Because everyone knows how Shubhendu Adhikari is. So what are they fearing? In your,
okay, let me put it this way. It is for the Trinamool Congress to hit the streets on this. They have to do it and take responsibility for what their scheme was. That scheme was an important scheme. And let me also say they should take responsibility for the fact that more women who were beneficiaries of the scheme voted for them even in this 2026 election after 35 odd lakh names were cut out. And therefore they have a responsibility to their voters. Why are they not taking responsibility? And if you ask me, the Congress and the left have a problem. They had trashed these schemes as vote for cash. So today, if they stand up and defend it, they will be seen as jumping on board the vote for cash bandwagon. This is absolutely cynical politics. Because that 3,000 rupees, 500 rupees, 1,500 rupees, whatever it was, it gave the women dignity. Beyond everything and anything else, it gave them respect, it gave them dignity.
Like what you said, that this is a clear betrayal, that first BJP promises, then they strip off the people of all the promises they've made, they don't deliver. Do you think that there could be a social unrest because of this?
Well, I don't see signs of it as yet, and I'll tell you why. Because from my discussions with people, especially women, it is that this government is something we don't understand, we don't know, unfamiliar. And they knew how governments in the past, be it the Trinamool, be it the left, how they would react if women took to the streets and started protesting. The police would be very, very careful about how they handle the situation. They're scared now. Therefore, it is for the political people. It is for Trinamool Congress, which steered these projects, these schemes. They initiated it. Now they have to work to defend it. This is ridiculous. And can you imagine? All these BLOs are going around distributing citizenship amendment forms, citizenship application forms, and then issuing domicile certificates because that is what is needed for eligibility as a beneficiary under these schemes. So the government already knew before it announced for public consumption for you and me. It already knew what it was going to do.
Since you are saying that this has been happening for over a week, the SIR judgment came in just yesterday,
yes.
Which means that everything looks very planned as a premeditated.
Yes.
sort of an exercise.
Yes. I've just seen that domicile certificate today. And that's alarming. I mean, the SIR is today, the court is saying the SIR is a legal process, it's constitutionally correct. The EC is constitutionally within its rights to do what it has done, which is disenfranchise people. But it also, hang on, and then it turns around and says that no, the EC is actually not the final authority on citizenship.
No, but my question was, like you explained, that why should, okay, fine, it's well within the rights of EC to assess the citizenship. But who has given the right to EC to issue domicile certificate? I mean,
they're not issuing the domicile certificate. Shubhendu Adhikari's government is issuing that. But the BLO.
No, but the BLO is BLO is the person who's attached to the election commission.
Yeah, but she's also a government employee or something, so she's being used. But it is the BLO. It is the person who the non-eligible voter is familiar with. The BLO. I asked these women, I said, who came to you?
No, but isn't this so confusing that this issue of the domicile certificate, if the BLOs are doing it, is it Shubhendu Adhikari or is it Gyanesh Kumar who has taken over the mantles and he's dominating on what Shubhendu should be doing?
I don't think it is the election commission directly, but the chief secretary is Mr. Manoj Agarwal.
Yeah.
Let's face it. So if there is a network that needs to make sure that women who were declared ineligible by the election commission are in some ways restored their benefits, then the checklist is with Mr. Manoj Agarwal, who was the chief election officer of West Bengal. So therefore the BLO. Is it so difficult to understand?
Is it not striking you like it's striking?
Yes, it is.
All this was planned much before the election results must have come. They would have known all this, it seems. They would have planned it like that way.
It seems that they already knew how they were going to hit the ground running. Let me just put it like that. Because here you have, within a day, the chief election officer of West Bengal becomes the chief secretary of West Bengal, right? The observer who was sent by the election commission, the super special observer who was sent by the election commission, becomes the advisor to the West Bengal government. So the election commission has transferred itself into the West Bengal government, along with all the data and all the networks that the election commission established, which is the BLOs. This is how I would look at it.
No, but I'm just wondering that if this entire thing is going to be replicated in other states, what does it indicate about the entire social setting of the country? It's going to turn chaotic.
No, the administration today, the election commission and the administration are synonymous. The election commission, therefore, its officers are part of a state that the BJP is intent on winning. So the whole thing has turned into a kind of apparatus of the state. Everything is to do with, it's an apparatus. The apparatus of government. Regardless of whether it is the election commission or it is the state government, so long as the BJP is, so long as there is a double engine sarkar, this is how the apparatus of government is going to function.
Isn't this like this bizarre Bengal betrayal? Is it going to have a trickle effect? And this is my final question to you. That it could end up having a trickle effect in other states where the SIR will now take place. And it's going to be a similar pattern which we'll see everywhere.
It all depends on how much people want to know. My worry is that people don't probably want to know. It is for political parties to spread this message, not in a trickle, but in a flood. Something that hits other states and other people's consciousness like a tsunami. It is not doing that.
Absolutely.
After Bihar, there should have been a huge awareness of the impact of SIR. I mean, look at the fact that in Gujarat, some 12, 13%
But the opposition didn't do it enough. After the
No.
Bihar elections were there, opposition completely went silent.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they should have been out here on the ground talking about it. Mamata Banerjee should have made an effort. The left should have made an effort. But what happened? It's almost as though the opposition is in their little regional silos and they don't want to have anything to do with other regional silos which are fighting their own battles. Now, that's if that is the pattern of opposition unity in India, then this is what we are going to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But very
And
unfortunate.
it's bleak as it is, that is exactly what it is.
Absolutely. It's frightening. Actually, it's frightening. It's intimidating. At the same time,
Yes.
it's laughable. It's bizarre in a way, the way it's unfolding. And I hope this trickle effect is not seen in other states. You have elections coming up next year in Uttar Pradesh, Manipur. You have elections in Uttarakhand, Gujarat as well. So are they going to replicate the whole thing, the entire Bengal model like this, which is going to be SIR related to all the welfare schemes? God forbid. And I don't know how things are going to be in control. Really bizarre. But I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Shikha, for joining on HW.
Thank you. Thank you.